A story now out of Richmond, Virginia. After 131 years, the largest Confederate statue in the United States of Confederate General Robert E. Lee came down today in Richmond, following authorization from all three branches of that state's government.
The statue clearly, presents a white man as superior to people of color.
It's a racist Confederate statue. Okay, it should be knocked down.
The war is raging. Afghanistan has fallen. A nation is divided. 100 million plus Americans don't want the vaccine. Texas wants to change the law when it comes to abortion. AOC is not happy about that. States like Florida are now challenging mask mandate. It's a war back and forth, and this is the original Gangster Power Hour podcast. 20 years after 9/11, 6 days ahead of a new pro-Trump rally, 3 days after Virginia took down Robert E. Lee's statue. It's about that time. So go check your blood pressure and tell your grandkids to be ready, because this is it, folks. This is it. Hey, happy to be here with you guys live for another edition of the original Gangster Power Hour. Last time that we talked about Afghanistan. We talked about taking responsibility. We talked about who can we trust. That's exactly where we left the last podcast. And I want to continue on that route, and I want to level with you guys right from the get-go. I don't want to do any kind of cheap shot. I'm not a cheap shot guy. I look at you straight in the eyes and I tell you what time it is. And I think it's fair enough that we, level, like I said. I don't know if you guys are old enough to recall what happened during the Cold War between the United States and Russia. During that time, we had a president named Ronald Reagan. And at that particular moment in time, Ronald Reagan decided at one point to address the nation, to address his folks, to address the voters. He decided to address the nation and talking about the fact that the United States were behind in terms of weapon. He had to explain to young me and you, and for those old enough to remember, he had to explain to maybe your dad and your mom that if the United States wanted to compete against Russia, they would have to inject more dollars into the army, right? That means that there was not enough money injected in the military at that time to sustain what the Russia was doing. And that's exactly what I want to bridge and what's going on today. There is a Cold War going on today, but it's not about weapon of mass destruction anymore. It's not about the same old weapon that Ronald Reagan warns us about. It's a new bio-warfare. Oh yeah. Technology and multiculturalism are linked together. So when we talk about multiculturalism, we talk about a cycle. And in that cycle, of course, there's an evolution in terms of technology that obviously some race will use to control other race. And this is not a racist comment. This is part of history, and this is what human beings are going through in a repetitive cycle of failure for thousands upon thousands of years. We're talking about warfare out here. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a war over ratings, supremacy, and freedom of speech. And like I said, anything goes. So therefore, like in the Cold War back then, that's exact same thing right now. We are in the middle of a culture warfare. So both sides are taking any kind of need, right? They're taking any step possible. And if they have to cheat, they will cheat. But make sure that both sides, the right and the left, as we speak, is plotting. What I mean by that is they're getting ready. Of course, we all know that the statue of Robert Lee E. in Virginia was taken down 3 days ago. Of course, we all know that 20 years passed by since the 9/11 attacks. There is no coincidence in life. I mean, just in that perspective alone, we gotta ask yourself, who can we trust? Which side do you believe? Which side will make history and lead the United States into this new millennium? These are the questions that I want to, of course, share with you guys. But these are the questions that we're going to find some answers. And we're going to find some answers by digging into what's going on with the vaccine. This is the first subject that we're going to address. After that, folks, I want to talk about abortion, Texas, AOC, women's rights, very important. And at the very end, I want to address, of course, what's going on with the media right now. It's hot. It is a war back and forth. And we're going to talk about Fox, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to tune in to the original Gangster Power Howard podcast every weekend. And don't forget that we are most definitely at war. Okay folks, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Now, I want to jump in the first segment, of course, by talking about the vaccine. There's 100 million plus Americans out there don't want the vaccine. And there's plenty of Americans out there walking around with fake vaccine paper. And it's real. A lot of con artists right now are making money by providing fake vaccine paper. Now, it's no surprise to me that a lot of people out there cannot trust anything that comes from the government based on past history and what happened with. Now, can we blame them? Can we blame them for not supporting or not trusting the same government that told us there was never anything with the HIV positive in the gay community that happened in Africa and everything? It was no scandal around that. It was just a coincidence. There was nothing out there that suggests that that happened. Now, there was no conspiracy, but we all know that they probably brought most of the main disease that we deal with on a daily basis are man-made. Let's not kid ourselves out here. These diseases are made in laboratory and are made especially to test. Right? It's a test. It's no coincidence, right? Everything that we eat, everything that is provided to us, it's made out of chemical, right? And most of you guys out there, and I'm not suggesting that there's some dumb people out there, but of course there's some dumb people out there, but of course there's some very intelligent people. Now, make the difference between someone dumb, like I said, and someone very intelligent. What do you think is going to happen? The person that is very intelligent will introduce to someone very dumb something that he might like, but in fact, that thing could be poison because he don't know any better. Do you understand where I'm coming from? I'm not saying that dumb people are mostly retarded and would accept anything, but it's well known that, and it's a common thing, it's well known in psychology that people with less or less intelligent, let's say, are most subjective sometimes to be manipulated. Now, manipulation comes in different format, right? Nowadays you get thousands of platforms that can manipulate you. And that's where I think that we really need to address what's going on with the vaccine. Because on one side, they're telling us, hey, there's no problem with the vaccine. Get the vaccine. On the other side, they're telling you, hey, you know what? You have the right not to take the vaccine. Now, do I want to live happy ever after and not suffer? I think that is my prerogative. But it is my right as well, and it is my duty as well to protect others from maybe having the virus, right? So if I don't get vaccinated, I become a potential hazard, right? Let's put it this way. All right, let's not take one side more than the other. Let's be fair, right? So you have the person that is maybe super intelligent, but at the same time, he want to protect his family, right? And you have the dumbest people on the planet who said, you know what? I'm looking at history and I'm looking at what happened to my past generation, and I don't trust you guys. You understand where I'm coming from? So if you can read between the lines what I just present to you guys, it's only the tip of the iceberg right there. Because if we dig into that vaccine, if we go further than what I just presented, we start to make some very interesting link between some very powerful persons and some very profitable, I would say, businesses. And we're talking about the pharmaceutical, right? We're talking about billions of dollars. People can make billions with that vaccine, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Nobody is talking about how profitable it is for those companies to have the virus out there scaring people and have them mutate. And do you really think that this virus will go away that easy? Of course not. that virus will never go away. It's too much profitable. There will be different kind of virus that will come away. There will be mutation, of course, to the virus, and all of that brings more and more vaccine. Why? Because we live in a world of failure, and we reward failures. So the more you fail in this world, the more we reward you. So that means the more people that dies from that virus, the more profitable it is for those companies to keep the virus alive. And it's not about the dumb people in Georgia doesn't want the virus. It's not about the smartest ass in the world in New York that want to protect his family and be happy and, no. It's about profit out here. It's about science, and it's about multiculturalism. Of course, nobody so far in the media have brought those three very important key factors. We're talking about multiculturalism, we're talking about profit and science. Because people don't know any better. We're talking about germs out here. How many people that takes the subway every morning in New York that covers their mouth when they cough? That's what happened where we're dealing with masses. It's easy to educate a class of 20 people, but try to do the same with 250 million Americans. That's exactly what Joe Biden is facing right now. And it's not easy. Of course, Joe Biden's gonna face some roadblock. And that roadblock might come on the 18th of September, 6 days ahead. We're gonna talk about that right after this break. We're gonna talk about the rally that's coming up. We're gonna talk about AOC, abortion, Texas. We're gonna be right back right after this break.